This is The Bottom Line, a show designed to help Australian businesses succeed. On the show, you'll hear from leading Australian business owners as they share the lessons they've learned building their companies. You'll learn from their successes as well as some of the challenges they faced along the way. We also talk to experts from a range of fields who share specialised techniques you can use to improve your business. I'm your host, Chavan, and I'm a director at Alexander Spencer, and I'm really passionate about helping Australian businesses succeed. In this bustling realm of modern business, a paradigm shift has dawned upon the corporate landscape. The traditional office spaces, once humming with collective energy of ambitious professionals, have given way to a new frontier, the remote workspace. As companies embrace the virtual realm, a crucial challenge emerges: the art of managing high-performance teams from afar. Regular video conferences become a platform not just for project updates, but for celebrating victories, acknowledging challenges, and fostering a sense of belonging. As challenges arise and the team encounters the inevitable bumps in the digital highway, technology becomes an ally in this remote endeavour. In this episode of The Bottom Line, we had the privilege of interviewing Darshan Chavan, the founder and CEO of ScaleX Solutions, an outsourcing company that specialises in helping businesses scale by providing high-quality remote team members. Darshan will walk us through the challenges and successes in the context of remote work, a pertinent topic in the current global business landscape. You'll learn how to adapt to the changing dynamics of the workplace, discover the importance of technology to foster success, and you'll hear Darshan share his insights into the effective communication with remote teams. Let's jump in. Darshan, thank you so much for joining me on The Bottom Line today.
I'm so glad to be on the podcast as well, Simon. Good to be here. I'm really excited.
Now, for those that don't know who you are and your background, tell us a little about yourself, and love to hear your journey.
For me, it's been exactly almost 10 years since I came to Australia. I came here as an international student to study in Monash University to do my master's in business analytics. But I was not an academic person, so I knew that this was just my ticket to get my permanent residency, and I already had set my goals to start my business at that time when I first came to university. And when I read all the books about starting a business, everyone talked about that you got to be really good at sales and marketing. Only then would you be able to succeed big time in business. But I had no sales experience, no marketing experience, because even after I graduated way back in India, I was working in IBM as an IT analyst. I didn't know what sales meant. So when I started applying for a lot of sales jobs when I was a student in Melbourne, I really couldn't get any sales jobs at all. And the only one which I got was direct, straight commission, door-to-door selling Telstra. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Let me get started. That's how really my journey began. And within 2 to 3 months' time, I learned a few of the sales techniques, the sales closes. And I even went through one of Jordan Belfort's sales training course, called a Straight Line Persuasion. Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. I still remember it so vividly. During my uni break, in the first semester, I almost locked myself out in the uni library and took almost 10 days to go through the 10 modules of Straight Line Persuasion of Jordan Belfort. And it really had a big impact. Was able to do my door-to-door selling for at least 2 to 4 years after my uni as well. And it was an amazing experience. And I got started with my business career as well. And all I wanted to do was just give as much value to people, help people upgrade themselves, upgrade their qualifications, many other things. And just 2 years ago, we got recognized as one of the 100 fastest growing business through AFR. And we felt really privileged for that. And it opened up a lot of opportunities for us as well. We got featured on Forbes. And just last month, I was recognized as 40 under 40 from Business Elite Awards. So I'm really blessed to have gone through this path. And a lot of business owners started approaching us and asking us as well, how are we able to scale the business with a really high profit margin and also having a lot of time off? That's when we really started our outsourcing arm of the business. Currently, we are mentoring and helping many other business owners on how to build a really high performance remote teams. So currently, with all our businesses, we don't have anyone here in Australia. All right. The only person who we have is our accountant. 100% of our team is based overseas. That's what we are really passionate about. And these days, I'm just sharing my experience with other business owners on how they can lead, in building amazing remote teams.
Darshan, very passionate, and you're a great speaker, I have to say. You've done some TEDx speaking. Tell us about that and what was your topics on?
We just got approached by TEDx, just to give and share my experience on building high performance remote teams. And to be honest with you, I'm not a public speaker. I'm more of a business owner. I'm not a business coach or like a speaker. That was a bit confronting, but I sometimes always love challenging myself because I'm a bit into adrenaline activities as well, like sky jumping, bungee jumping, and many other things. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is going to be something that will really challenge me. But the hardest thing was I had only 4 weeks to prepare everything, come up with a script, and then deliver the talk as well. And TEDx is really serious, all right, when it comes to their particular platform, the content you speak, because you're not supposed to pitch anything over there. And also, for the topic to be approved, you need to share something really a hard challenge that you went through. And also, what people can relate to in a larger audience segment. And I could see that, even while I was starting the business, many other things, my biggest personal challenge was asking people. Because from an early stage in my life, I was programmed that if you ask, you're going to be a bad boy. All right. If you ask for toys, you're not a good person. But when you grow up, you still have those limiting patterns running on in your mind. And then can you imagine you're having a team of 10 people, but you're having that struggle? Oh, do I need to ask them to do it? Do I need to ask for a sale? So that was one of the biggest challenges which I had in my life. And that became the central aspect of my TEDx talk. And yeah, I had to share, how I was able to overcome this challenge of asking for help from team members, asking for help from customers. And what do we do? And also the power of collaboration. When I say collaboration, collaborating with partner, even like you, like on this TEDx talk, it's an amazing collaboration, or collaborating with a team member. And yeah, I had to use a few props as well to make my message come across really well. And yeah, it was really well received. And I've been happy that I was able to give the talk.
Amazing. You're a director of ScaleX Solutions. Tell us about that business. You spoke a little bit about it. You sort of did a little pitch, but go deeper into what is ScaleX Solutions. How do you provide that service and what is that service?
As soon as we won the particular award of the 100 fastest growing businesses, there were a lot of people who started asking us for an experience share. How are you able to build a multiple seven-figure business completely remote? All right, what's the culture that you have? What are the routines, the rituals that you do? And that's when we could clearly see that there was a big gap in the market where people had a lot of limiting beliefs that, it's really hard, that I can't work with an outsourcing team, or if I do outsource, it may or may not work. So there were many challenges. And all we got to do was started sharing our experiences, what we currently do, how we built it, what kind of a culture we have built in, what kind of an accountability that we have built in. And in that way, we were able to help a lot of our clients not only scale their businesses with a really high profit margin, but more importantly, take a lot of time off to do things that they are passionate about. All right, maybe they can venture into property development. They can spend more time with their kids, attend their sports events. So many things that they will be able to do in having that time freedom. Because as entrepreneurs, we start our own business because we want to have more time. But rarely that does work out. All right. Because we are so much caught up in the day-to-day operations. But having a team and making sure that they are empowered to carry on your goals, that had a really big impact.
So, in terms of Scale X, do you teach people how to actually go out and outsource and then they got to go and find their people? Or do you provide a complete solution to your clients where you say, okay, you need a personal assistant, you need a bookkeeper, and a social media person in your business? Leave it to us. We will find you three people and then teach you how to manage those three people. Is that the solution? Can you talk through the service in a little bit more detail so we get a bit of understanding of that for Scale X?
It's a combination because what we believe is both mentoring aspect, but at the same time, people would not have much time to go through an online course and not take action. So what we do is so that people can take action faster, we even provide that particular service. So what we do is we usually use a lot of profiling. So you might have heard about disc profiling or Kobe, many other things. So depending on one particular profiling, what we do is we try to find that particular candidate for that particular role. As what Jim Collins talks about in Good to Great, right people in the right role is what makes the business start working. Whereas this was a really big gap that we could find in the market where people were just trying to put everyone and anyone in any role. And I was guilty as well in my early years of doing this. I used to hire someone who's not detail oriented, who was very enthusiastic, who was very bubbly for a bookkeeper role. Oh my goodness, was I in for a surprise? All right, it was a massive disaster. Whereas that's when I got to know that for something that's analytical, that's detail oriented, you got to hire someone who's more of a C type personality. All right, they need to have that attention to detail, be more analytical, go more into the depth. So, this is exactly what we are helping our clients with as well, so that they get to know that for this particular role, what should be the personality profiling, what should be the traits, the characteristics, and the entire checklist that they need. And what we have seen is over the duration of time, the working relationship works really well. And what we do is we break it down into two parts. In the beginning, we try to profile the candidate pretty well who fits that particular role. And later on, when the candidate is onboarded, we also share the personality profile of the business owner with them so that they understand how this business owner works. Because if they are a high D, they know that they're more results driven. Okay. They can be going towards the results. They don't mean anything harm, but that's how their personality works. They're going for an end result. So in that way, what happens is Seven, the working relationships nourishes really well. And the particular team member gets to work with the business for a really long duration of time. And they wouldn't have much challenges in keeping them.
We had actually Victoria Pyatt on our show early days, about 18 months ago, talking about disc profiling, and it's so important. We use it in our business. I'm a high D and general manager here where that assists us with some recruitment. He'll say, if you're going to ever hire a PA, and I've had PAs in the past, you can't have a high D. You need a high C to clean up your mess and to dot the I's and cross the T's. And it's that complementary skill set. So there's a tip there: hire the right profile for the right role. And I like the idea of educating both parties so that the candidate and the employee also knows the disc profile of their reporter or reportee. So it actually works really, really well. So let's get a little bit into your business and how you've grown it. You've won so many awards recently. You're the fastest growing, ranked 66 in 2022 of the fastest growing businesses. Tell us about your growth journey. So you've obviously built an awesome business. How did you scale it? Was it the business that you had, in fact, that you have a chance to outsource, or what were your little successes in being able to scale and grow so fast?
Absolutely. For us, we really had to focus on two most important things. As a business owner, there are multiple things that you can do. And we really get bogged down by so many minute activities that really don't add value to your business growth. And two things I had to really focus a lot was on customer obsession. And the second thing was staff happiness, the team member happiness. What I usually do is at the beginning of every month, I usually shortlist three things I can do to deliver insane amounts of value to the customer, and also three things I can do to make the team member happy. And all I need to focus on is making sure that I move this onto my project management thing and think about this every single day. How can I create raving fans in my company? And how can I always over deliver? What can I do next? What can I do next? Where they really think that, wow, why is this person doing such an amazing thing? And as a result of this, all the channels put together, we have built an amazing database. And to be honest with you, our reviews speak more than anything else. And Even looking at our sales right now, almost 30 to 40% of our sales are getting only through referrals, where people are happy with the service that they have been given and they just keep referring people over and over again. And also, when it comes to team happiness, what we have observed is the more we give value, we pay people well, not just in monetary funds, but also making sure that there's an amazing growth culture where people are happy to come to work, because happy employees means happy clients. Whereas if the staff and the team members are not happy from the bottom of their heart, we can clearly see that they wouldn't be able to serve the clients at their highest potential. So, yeah, these two things have been the core, like customer obsession and staff happiness have been the growth of our companies.
So let's talk about staff happiness. So your company, ScaleX Solutions, has all your staff overseas. What's your one thing you've done to keep your staff happy being so far away from them? Because I'm assuming being in Queensland in Australia, your staff are overseas. What is your one tip that you've done that has given that radar of staff happiness to go through the roof?
People are pretty smart, all right? They can understand that they look up to their leader. And the most important thing that we have done with our team is recognition. And to put it as well in a particular synonym, which I heard from one of my mentor, it starts with RAE. By that, what I mean to say that is R is for recognition, is for appreciation, and E is for engagement and encouragement. So if I take care of these three things, recognition, appreciation, engagement, and encouragement, people like blossom like anything. And most of the times, as we are brought up, we're really not brought up in a high self-esteem way, high confident way. All right. Whereas when people see that they're genuinely being recognized for the work that they do, I can see amazing, amazing changes. And we do this often. And the first way that we do is we do a monthly town hall. Every single month, the first month of every month, we have a particular rhythm that we go through. And during those monthly town hall, almost 15 minutes is spent on only recognizing people who have done exceptionally well, who have been top performers, who have added amazing value to the client's experience. So this goes on over and over and over again. And the most important thing is being more open minded, thinking long term in sharing the profits with the team members as well. I've seen over and over again a few business owners trying to squeeze in every single dollar and making sure the team members are not really recognized and awarded in whatever they do. Whereas in the beginning itself, I could see that the more I start thinking long term and share the benefits with the team members, it's going to have an amazing effect on their long term happiness.
And a tip on recognition, how, other than obviously recognizing people in a town hall and saying, Darshan, you've done an amazing job on XYZ. We want a round of applause. You might get a little certificate. What's one of your other unique ways that you've come up with to be able to then recognize one or two of your team members?
I'll give you an example as well. 4 weeks ago, I was in Philippines. We had an amazing team referral where we usually get to meet them often in person. Even though I love working remote, there's a different connection that happens when you meet them in person, look them eye to eye, break the bread, have a meal with them. And I was having a quick one-on-one session with my sales manager. Her name is Anna. And while I was having a chat with her, she was talking about what really motivates her, what drives her. And she was telling me and sharing her experience about her three daughters. She has a few of the teenage daughters as well. And as soon as you can see that, that she's so passionate about it, all I had to do was ask her to open her phone, her camera, and I shot a quick selfie video about how amazing Anna is, what a go-getter she is, and how much she's driving to feed her family, to help them, and to have an impact. And I just shot like a 2-minute video about it and how grateful that they need to be about their mother. And yeah, within a moment, we were able to send it to them and it had an amazing, really, really heart touching experience with them.
I'm speechless in terms of that story. That is so creative. That would have built such high connection with that particular staff member. I think as leaders of organizations, we forget how important that piece is. Like that high level connection can go so far. Because next time you would have asked for that particular employee to just go outside the box of her normal day-to-day duties, or if you wanted a little bit more from her, she would have jumped and she would have been like, Darshan, whatever you need, I'm there for you. And I think connection and appreciation, recognition, it's so important the way you've pieced it together. I think business owners really need to focus on that, and that's very, very impressive. So let's talk about remote work and communication during that remote work. And it requires obviously really good communication because most of the time, like you said, you're not face to face and you can't eyeball them. So can you describe a situation where effective communication strategies played a crucial role in your remote team's success?
In the very beginning, Seven, we were able to identify that when you're working in a remote environment, it's going to be so much more different than working face to face or in an office space. And this is something that I had to internalize and convince myself that it's going to be different. Just accept it, and it's fine. And you can still build a massive business when you have 100% remote team. And one of my mentor, I was just going through his videos, and he really challenged my belief. And he said he has built a $75 million business having 100% remote team. And it took me a minute to just internalize that. How could someone build a multi 8-figure business having 100% remote team? So whatever things that I'm telling myself, it's a limiting belief. I need to really challenge myself. And when I really went deeper into how he built it, everything came down to rituals, rhythms, and routines. So we have a particular ritual for our weekly one-on-one. Every single week with the key people in our business, we have a 30 to 45 minutes ritual. No matter what happens, we make sure that this happens. And we have a particular agenda for it. And on top of that, we have our monthly town halls as well. Okay, that's another ritual. And on top of that, every Wednesdays, we have a leadership meeting with the entire leadership team where we discuss different concepts about team building, leadership, a positive culture. So these things really add a lot of it. And also, our entire leadership philosophy is more results based management style because we know that micromanaging never works in a remote environment. You might have 50 cameras all around them, but it just doesn't work, man. All right. The more you try to micromanage people when they are remote, the only person who's going to get frustrated is you as a business owner, no one else. So instead of trying to micromanage and trying to check what are they doing every single hour, every single minute, it's better to communicate the outcome, the KPIs, and the results that are expected of them. And keeping a close tab on it has really worked wonders for it.
Let's talk about technologies. So we use Microsoft Teams in our office, and predominantly that. We like to record our sessions if we're working with our remote team. What are some of the tools you found most effective for managing remote teams?
First and foremost, I think so CRM, that's a basic given aspect of it. So currently we use Zoho CRM for all our operations, all right, because especially with Zoho, when they have a suite of tools that you can work together for even HR, for invoices, for marketing automation, many other things. So it's been working really well for us. So having an amazing CRM can work amazing. And the second thing is a project management tool. Currently, we are using Asana as well, just to keep people accountable where we are going. And for communications, we usually use Slack. And also just for clients' safety and also just to know the productivity as well, we use Hubstaff as a time tracking software so that it's easier for people to bill us for the work that they have done. So yeah, usually these are the a few tools that we usually use, and Zoom, of course, to jump on meetings and have chat with people.
Awesome. Can you share a success story of a high performing remote team that you've been a part of or managed? What made them stand out so much?
Biggest one is always the mindset of the entire team, which comes down to the leader. All right. How are we going to pass on this really high growth, high focused mindset? And that mindset is usually driven by the values of the company. And this really was a complete game changer for us when trying to manage a high performance team in making sure that we have noticed our values and it's communicated over everyone in the team. Okay. And every decision that we're going to make about hiring or letting go of people, everything is taken based on these values that we have in the company. And it makes the decision making process so much more easier.
And in terms of just what your views are in outsourcing and offshoring and hiring an offshore team in Australia, what have you seen the trends lately, and where do you see the trends going over the coming years?
Oh, there's been massive changes since I started outsourcing myself almost like 8 years ago now. And some of the changes that are about to happen also is going to be really mind blowing. And the biggest thing which I can currently see in developed countries like US, UK, Canada, or Australia is just not about the pricing. It's about the quality of talent that we are able to tap into. I'll give you an example. Currently, my operations manager, she was working in HSBC as an operations manager for 8 years. And all we tend to pay her is maybe anywhere between $3,500 to $4,000 a month. And to be honest with you, she's a freaking gun. Like she's a force of nature. And it really blows my mind the amount of work that she can get done, the results she can produce, and the level of team members she's able to lead. I really believe that, like, yeah, the quality of talent that you're able to get from overseas is unbelievable. And more importantly, Seven, what I've seen is their hunger, their drive is way, way, way amazing. I can't see much of an entitlement mentality or that I deserve this kind of a thing over there. And they're always grateful. And when I have a chat with them, they're so blessed that they have this job and they're able to provide for their families and have a massive impact with all the people that they're able to surround with.
It's amazing because at the end of the day, in Australia, we're such a big country geographically, but such a small country in population. But we have a high GDP considering how small we are. And the talent pool, as much as we're quite talented in Australia, we are. We do need to go overseas for the talent. I think a lot of people, what I've seen over the years is this whole offshoring or outsourcing was, cheap labor. We're just getting cheap labor. But I think it's changed. I've got clients that have engineers, highly paid engineers, highly skilled engineers out of India, Philippines, Vietnam. I know Vietnam's a massive hub for technology at the moment in terms of tech. So is India. So it's really getting to a point where we're not just tapping into the cost of the cost, it's just the talent that you access. And I think as a country, if we stay closed minded and not think outside the box, we will track behind because the other countries will tap into those resources more than what we will. And I think as business owners in Australia, we do need to think a little bit broader than just our own borders and really think broadly and seeing what we can do because the talent is amazing. And my view on the entitlement, look, we are so lucky in Australia. We've isolated. At the moment, we've got lots of wars and things happening in the Middle East and so on. And we're so isolated from all of that. We are an entitled country. I mean, I've got two young kids and their life is great. It's, they have everything in the world and that's what we work for. But we've created that. Everything's easy. It's hard work, but being in a first world country, there's an abundance of resources, an abundance of, everything. Everything's in your fingertips. But you go to the Philippines, you go to India, you need to fight and work hard to put food on the table. And if you don't do a great job at work, there's billions of people in Philippines. I was shocked. There's 100 million population in the Philippines. Everyone wants that job. And I feel like once they're given the opportunity and with great leadership, you can make some seriously special things happen. So I've seen it firsthand with my clients, and it's just amazing to see what talent there is and how driven they are. So it's awesome.
To be honest with you, it's one of the biggest competitive advantage you can have as a business owner. Multinational companies are doing it, be it Westpac, be it ANZ. ANZ has one of the biggest offices in India. And if you call Westpac, most of the call center calls that you get are from Philippines. And most of the time that holds business owners back is their own limiting beliefs and mindset and not being open, as you mentioned. And if you really want to have a competitive advantage, there's nothing way better than outsourcing. Because if you look at it, one of the biggest expenses of any business is staff wages. And if you can even cut down maybe 30% or even 40% of these staff wages, just imagine how much more money would you be able to put it into the marketing aspect of it. And this is one of the reasons why we were able to scale very quickly because we got amazingly better at spending money on Facebook ads and Google ads. And the reason why we were able to spend that money as well was we were able to save anywhere between 45 to 50% on our staff wages. So what do we do with all the cash that's coming up? So all we are putting is in that machine where it's become like a slot machine for us now. Facebook ads and Google ads, put $1, make $5 back. Put $2, make $6 back. And the reason why we are able to have that flexibility is because we have amazing people, talented people working at such an affordable rate overseas.
Amazing. So I want to leave it off with my last question. Darshan, obviously, we know the main hubs of outsourcing, the Philippines, India. I mentioned Vietnam, there's a bit going on there. Tell us, which are the countries that are doing this well, or where are the talent based? So can you give us some context around these different countries and what they provide from an outsourcing perspective?
I'll just speak on my own experience, all right, and what kind of talent we hire from different countries as well. Okay, so when it comes to Philippines, most of our customer support team, our sales team, and even the back-end admin team is from Philippines, because there's a bit of a culture difference between Philippines and India. Because even though I'm from India, most of our team members are from Philippines, but at the same time, we have team members from India as well. So when it comes to Philippines, Filipinos are really lovely people. And I get to know this when I read the reviews on Trustpilot and Google. Filipinos are really happy people, and they're really grateful. And when they speak with people, people feel happy. Man, I love to call this person. Or if I get a call, I'm happy to chat with this person for a longer time. So that's with Philippines. When I come to India, so most of our web development, SEO, bookkeeping, virtual CFO services, they're all mostly going to India at the moment. Okay, because we know that they hustle hard and they think a little bit more out of the box as well when it comes to getting things done. And it's been almost close to an year since we started with working with our virtual CFO. He's from the northern part of India. And some of the things that he comes up with, it just blows my mind. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why didn't I hire him 2 years ago? My profit margins would have been so much more bigger. And one more thing I've observed with people like him is they push back. All right. They don't just accept what you say. Whereas with Philippines, it's a bit more, they do accept what you say in an easier way. So yeah, there are different roles, there are different job titles that you can delegate or outsource to different countries. That's been my own experience, but there are always exceptions to the rule as well. So hopefully we would still continue doing the same thing.
Darshan, you've been amazing. You've shared such an amazing story with the way that you lead a team. I want to say thank you so much for joining me on The Bottom Line. I wish ScaleX all the success in the world. You've obviously got an amazing formula, and I can't wait to see what you do in your business journey. And you can tell you're so passionate, and keep up that amazing work. Thank you.
It's been so good speaking with you, Seven.
This is The Bottom Line, a show designed to help Australian businesses succeed. This podcast was produced by accountancy firm Alexander Spencer. At Alexander Spencer, we've been helping business owners realise their goals since 1952, and we play a pivotal role in developing, implementing, and supervising the business goals and strategies of our clients. To find out how we can help your business succeed, head to our website, alexanderspencer.com.au. To make sure you don't miss an episode of The Bottom Line, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm Chavan, and we'll be back next episode with more tips to help you transform your business. And that's The Bottom Line.